I don't know why they say this is the most joyous time of year. I feel like Limp Bizkit actually said it best. Everything is fucked and everybody sucks.
You don't really know why, but you want to justify. But rip his head off.
Punching a fan in the stand's head off. Uh,
Merry
as-
Christmas, everybody.
well, yeah. So sports fans, there's always a lot to be thankful for, right? But it feels like there are a lot of moments that really just make us question the true meaning of life, if you will. Like on one hand, we have the best form of entertainment to watch day in and day out. I always say to my wife, this is the best form of reality TV. So don't even question it, right? Never know what's going to happen. But then on the other hand, one team can just single-handedly ruin your life for 4 to 6 months at a time. And the ups and downs kind of remind me a lot about life. You know, in the grand scheme of things, we know sports are so small in our daily lives, but why does it just feel like the whole world is crashing down when all we want is our teams to be successful?
Wow, this is taking a dark turn real quick here. Eh? The Lions season really has you feeling that, eh, buddy? I mean, it's not like you had anything else major happen in your life this year to kind of make the Lions making the playoffs seem insignificant, right?
First off, not eliminated yet, so watch your mouth.
Fair, fair.
And
Yeah.
second, everything, and I mean everything, no matter how great, is second best to football.
Move over, infant son. You're being trumped by football. Actually, you might be right there, buddy. Which is why we're doing a podcast here on the week of Christmas. But
Yep.
here we are, your favorite NFL-loving Canadians. I'm Brooksee. He's Calvo. Really the Grinch. Let's call him the Grinch this week. Here we are in the NFL, a couple days before two more sleeps till Christmas, buddy.
Two more sleeps till Christmas. And it feels like, even though it's been a few months, it feels like we're just really getting going with the NFL season, right? And
Yeah.
much like doing this every week, sometimes it just flies by. So if you've watched every episode so far this year, we're so very thankful for all of you. We are a small but mighty channel and hope to grow this community of football fans across the world
Yes, sir.
that not only love football, but also love not taking things too seriously. And if you throw out the wackiest football takes and call it content, well, you might just be friends of ours.
Yeah, I mean, calling what we do content might be questionable at best as a designation, but we do our best to kind of keep you guys entertained. We hope, anyway, and not ruin your lives on a weekly basis. So
Well, you
maybe
ruin
you're,
my life on a weekly basis, so
yeah, but just once a week, so that's all right. Like,
yeah, that's
I
fair.
think you can live with that. Yeah, so Bravonians out there, maybe your team's been in the dumpster fire of the week this year, probably deservingly. Maybe your favorite players landed in Brooksee's Beauties, or got called a big old OU nasty for dropping a seriously nasty play on us. But one thing is for sure. There are always lots of things keeping us coming back each week to talk about it. We are in the best time of the year. So, thank you for being here. Welcome back. And you want to just dive right into week 16 here, buddy?
Well, before we dive into it, like, what do you got going on for holidays? Anything major?
Yeah, I get to spoil my goddamn nieces and nephews again.
Nice.
Looking forward to dropping all kinds of swag on them. This is the best time of the year, right? You get to see the reactions when they open gifts and just spending some time with family, right? You know, this this time of year is a dark time for a lot of people. Maybe a lot of people don't get to see their families, and or you know, it's a dark time for yeah, for whatever reason it could be. So you know, it's so easy to be kind. I just want to urge everyone out there, especially this time of year, but really any day of the year. Like it's so being kind, being good to people. You don't know what you know what that stranger over there has got going on in their lives right now. You know this much of their entire life of everything that they've got going on. So if they seem in a bad mood, uh, you know it's probably not because of you. You know, so just be a good person. Be fucking kind. It's so easy. Don't be a dick. There we go. Merry Christmas and don't be a dick. That's how I feel. But yeah, I got some wicked family time planned, buddy. What do you got going on?
I'm glad that's how you feel, because, like you said, I kind of feel like the Grinch this
We're
year.
gonna go total opposite end of the
Uh,
spectrum here. Just be a
no,
dick
no,
to
no. There,
everybody.
there's lots to be thankful for, and you know, obviously, yes, friends, family, and like you said, you never truly know what somebody's going through. I like to typically I do it most of the year, except for this year because I tore my bicep. But I often, every couple of weeks, volunteer at the food bank, and
Yeah,
especially around this time of year,
love that.
Christmas Eve is kind of a tradition of mine to spend most of the day at the food bank, and I'm not handing out food by any means to people in need, but I help build orders to send out to all the different agencies, and then our spot is the main distribution channel here to receive all the donations. So if you got a little bit extra food in the cupboard, please donate if you're able to. I know times are tough for a lot of people, but it goes a long way, especially to those that might be in a little bit more need than ourselves. And while it is great to spoil people, sometimes it's not even about the gifts, right?
Yeah.
My wife and I especially been kind of second guessing everything this year. You know, we just had our first child, so a lot to be thankful for. So we don't need any more gifts. You know, it's just like we want the family time, the watching the magic happen with the kids as they grow up, right? So
Yeah.
it's one of these things. I think just perspective is everything, and yeah, it's great if the big tradition is to hand out lots of gifts and lots of love. You know, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, not everyone can get that. So hopefully, if you know, you are one of those people that can't see your family every year, or maybe there's just, you know, circumstances that don't allow that to happen. Maybe you can find a little bit of solace in watching two goofballs talk about football for an hour and just escape reality.
Well, yeah, and I do want to say that's such an awesome initiative, going to the food bank and helping out the less fortunate. And my workplace does a thing as well where there's definitely a lot of maybe less fortunate families in the community that don't really get to celebrate Christmas. And you're right, it's not about gifts. It shouldn't be really about the
Yeah,
gifts. Gifts are such a small part of Christmas, but we do a thing where there's some families that and some kids, especially kids, that maybe have to go without a lot of Christmases. So we
for
do a
sure.
toy drive at work where people just donate as much as they can to toys, and we get lists of things that families might need and want, and put these baskets together a couple days before Christmas. And then today was a big day for a lot of my coworkers. I didn't get a chance to do it this year, but I've done it in previous years where we go and just deliver these big baskets of gifts to families that are a little less fortunate. And you know, like I said, Christmas is not about the gifts, but if you can brighten a kid's year by dropping off something that you know they didn't think that they were going to get, right? They know what the situation that they live in, and they know their parents are on hard times. So
Yeah,
any little chance you get to just brighten someone's year up like that is it feels so good. And you know, what's it to us, right? We have all we need. We might as well help out where we can.
absolutely. That no gifts thing was more for the adults. Spoil the shit out of
Yeah,
the children, man.
that's right. We
They
don't
only
need
get
gifts.
they only get to be young for so long. We always remembered just wanting to be a grown up when we were little, so we could do whatever the hell we want. And I think 99% of us probably regret that decision.
Well, let's face it, dude. I'm 39. You're in your 40s now. We don't get gift. We get socks. Like we
Right.
get things that we need at Christmas, and it's it's not as
Exactly.
fun anymore. So, yeah, if we can make it fun for the younger generations, then let's fucking do it, right?
Right. Although I was at Golf Town today, and Daddy could have got a Santa present for like $350.
Man,
Not too
that's how
bad.
I do it. Every like 5 gifts I buy for other people, I could treat myself to one.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself. Let's
Well,
go.
and one other thing I want to say before we dive into it,
Yeah, man.
as much as we play it up for the Bravonians, I'm super thankful for you, brother. You're one of my best friends, and we have a great fucking time uh, outside of this podcast and even doing it together. So thankful for you, and let's keep rocking this shit.
Appreciate the sentiment, my dude. I feel the exact same way. So yeah, let's talk some football. Let's do what we came here to do.
Right on. Well, I feel like, you know, when you have these close relationships, you tend to fight like big brothers and little brothers, right? And that's how I feel when we get these divisional matchups super late in the year, especially with
Oh
two
yeah.
powerhouse teams. You know, not often are we treated to bangers on a Thursday night. And what do we get? A 38 to 37 overtime thriller between the Seahawks and the Rams. Dude, what a wild one.
Game of the year, basically, definitely game of the week, and it kind of set the tone for the entire week. But that just meant that the rest of the week, nothing else was going to compare. But who cares? This game was fucking wicked. Sam Darnold leads the Seahawks down the field in overtime, scores a touchdown and the 2 point conversion to walk off the Rams and take full control of the NFC West and the number one seed in the NFC, Seattle Seahawks. Oh, you nasty.
Damn. And yeah, for a while there, it looked like the Rams were just big brother and the Seahawks all over the
They
place,
were
right? I
up like
think
16 points in the fourth
I
quarter.
know. And uncharacteristic from the Rams to see that kind of lead slip away, but it's kind of crazy. I think they said a stat like Darnold's thrown 5 or 6 picks against the Rams this year, but both these games were super competitive, back and forth, right? And yeah, there we had a little bit of everything in this game, and I was at my work Christmas party, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I'm missing probably one of the best games of the year here,
Yeah.
and you know, not that the party wasn't fun, but come on, football. Like I said,
Football trumps everything, right?
everything is second best to football,
Yeah.
but man, you can't ask for much more than this, right? You got week 16, two of the best teams that are in the same division, duking it out for first overall in the division, not only in the division, but in the conference. And
Yeah.
man, like when you see a rare 2 point play that goes backwards, fumbled forwards into the end zone for a touchdown,
That was crazy. Yeah.
man, imagine being in the stadium for that and you just don't know what the hell's going on, why they're reviewing anything, and all of a sudden you get the call. Obviously, man, what a wild game.
And we talked about the Rams leading by 16 points at one point in the fourth quarter. Stafford did all he could. I mean, he threw for over 450 yards, three
Right?
touchdowns. Puka Nakua went off.
Hmm.
I played against him in a couple of my fantasy pools this week. So there you go. Fucking Puka just
RIP.
destroyed me himself. 225 yards and two scores. So thanks for that, Puka. But Sam Darnold, those how about those Thursday night jerseys the Seahawks were wearing? Those things were sexy.
Right?
And Sammy D, historic rally for those Seahawks. I mean, he wasn't as impressive as numbers, obviously, as much as Stafford. He only threw for 270 yards, two two touchdowns, but those two successful 2 point conversions, including the winner in overtime, I wouldn't say outdueled Stafford, but obviously did enough. And this Seahawks team, I don't know, are they better? Like, is this the true rightful heir to the NFC throne this year, or what?
I think they got the best of the Rams in a situation. I think if it comes down to it again, the Rams aren't going to let that happen. So Rams need to get a little bit healthy, but they're scary. I don't know.
Well, we'll stay in the NFC West because this is crazy. The Rams dropped from 1 to 6, actually, because the San Francisco 49ers also won. Of course, this was the Monday Nighter, but we'll talk about it now because might as well keep the NFC West together here. The Niners just stomped the Colts. Poor Philip Rivers. They yank him
I
out of
know.
retirement to try and lead this poor Colts team, struggling Colts team to the playoffs, and he just can't do it. He actually had a pretty good game this game, I will say. But the Niners get it done, and they go to 11-4. They leapfrog those Rams, so they're now in fifth in that top wildcard spot. The Rams fall to sixth. This is crazy the way the jockeying for positioning is going down.
It is for sure. And I mean, like you said, it's really not Philip Rivers' fault. Like I felt like he did everything humanly possible for, a 44-year-old coming off the couch,
Yeah,
doing nothing for the last few years except for coach high school football.
right.
And it tells me two things. That Colts defense is just demoralized with the injuries that they have, and they are missing some pretty big pieces on that side of the ball.
Yeah.
But also, like, is there a quarterback development problem? Like, how can a 44-year-old come off, throw for almost 300 yards, couple touchdown passes, and like there's guys that can't even get above 500 or, see the field for half a year starting these days.
When you're one of the greats, you're one of the greats, right? And Philip Rivers was doing it a long time, and he's
Yeah,
he's
I guess
racked up
so.
tens of thousands of passing yards over the years for a reason. He's fucking good. So
Right.
but I mean, obviously, Brock Purdy had a much better night. Threw for five touchdowns. This guy just
Yeah,
lit up that Colts defense. And who wants to run into the Niners right now? I fucking hate them, man. I've been calling them frauds for years, but hard to ignore what they're doing right now at 11-4. Purdy doing what he's doing. George Kittle went over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. Christian McCaffrey had over 100 yards rushing. Like this team is just firing.
yeah.
Christian McCaffrey might play a full fucking season for the first time in ever.
Crazy. Crazy. And he's not even really getting it going on the ground yet. Like this is one
Right.
of his biggest games of the year on the ground. He's been doing a lot of damage in the receiving game, but yeah, they're I've talked about it on end. They're kind of one of these teams that you can't take them lightly because they've got weapons everywhere. And if you can continuously rely on McCaffrey and Kittle to get the job done, well, yeah, this 49ers team could go pretty deep.
Let's stay in the NFC, buddy, because the we're gonna see this rematch in a couple weeks to decide to the division. But
Yep.
the way this went this game, I'm loving it. I know you're hating it. You're kind of pulling for the Bucks. I'm pulling for the Panthers for our little bet here, a little preseason bet. But the Panthers squeak this one out. Carolina, they take the NFC South lead. They go to 8-7, a full game up on the Bucks. They win 23-20. What do you got to say about this one? What happened to Baker?
Falling off a little bit, threw an interception at the
Yeah.
end of the game, which kind of sealed the deal for the Panthers. But man. I don't know what's happened to the Bucks this year. Like started off so hot, and now like they can't win a game to save their life. They're in all these games. They just can't seem to get it done now. And it's like a tale of two teams this year in the reverse motion here, looking like the Eagles from a couple years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck you. But yeah, like Baker normally is money when it comes to those game-winning drives, right? Give him the ball last with a field however many yards to go and time on the clock, and that's when he performs the best. But he threw a pick, he game-sealing pick to end this game, and very uncharacteristic of Baker Mayfield. You don't see that out of him, but that Panthers defense kind of scary good. So
And what I'm seeing and what's impressing me a lot this year is the growth of Bryce Young.
yeah,
And like there's a couple moments this year where you're like, he's just looks like he's regressing again from how we finished last year, and now he's just right back on pace with that, maybe even better. And
yeah.
he's got this Panthers team playing some of the best offensive football that they've had in numerous years now, and it looks like he's finally figured it out. And their weapons are only going to get stronger. So Panthers might be a team to look out for over the next few years here.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce Young is normally so inconsistent, but I think this year that sustained level of, he comes to play every single game, and we haven't seen that out of him really until this year.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, those Panthers could be a little bit scary. Who knows? I mean, they're going to sneak into that 4 seed. They're going to end up having to play either the Niners or the Rams first round. So I don't know that I see them making a ton of noise in the playoffs this year. But you
Already
never know. You
beat
just
the
got to win to
Rams,
get in, right? They've already beat the Rams. Exactly.
as we know.
And we'll see what
Well,
they can do against the Seahawks this coming week. They play them. Could be could be danger, but
right. Well, one team that I feel hasn't really been fully tested yet this year is your Philadelphia Eagles. You've had a couple decent matchups in there, but you got a little bit of a layup last week. Get the Commanders. No Jane Daniels. Mariota leaves with an injury in this one too. I don't even know who their third stringer is at this point,
it's
but
Josh Johnson.
oh yes, Josh Johnson,
Yeah,
the legendary Josh Johnson.
legendary journeyman.
Well, lucky for you, Dallas fell off in the last few weeks after being one of the hottest teams in football,
Yeah.
leading Philly to a second straight NFC East title, which hasn't been done in like 20 plus years. Dude, how you feeling?
I feel good. The only thing is I'm going to the Eagles Bills game this coming week, and now with the fact that the Eagles have locked up the division and probably can't move any higher than the 3 seed, I'm worried they're going to be resting starters. It's going to be a boring game to watch, but it doesn't matter. This game was great. They beat the Commanders by 11. They lock up that NFC East for the second year in a row, which obviously you're right hasn't been done since '04 when the Eagles did it before. So yeah, I feel pretty good. I really feel like yeah they haven't really hit their stride yet. Maybe they haven't been tested a whole bunch. I know they've had a pretty tough schedule early on. They were winning some games against tough teams that now you look at it and it's like they beat the Chiefs and you want to look at that as Super Bowl rematch, but the Chiefs are ass this year. So
Mhm.
was that really a huge test? Meh. They beat the Rams week 3 before the Rams had sort of figured out who they were. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing who's going to end up because the Eagles are going to probably stay in that 3 seed. Who's going to finish sixth? Is it going to be the Rams? I don't know if I like that rematch. We'll see. But
Yeah.
yeah, the Eagles get it done.
Hey, like I said, you can only play the teams that are on your schedule, right? And yeah, we look at some of these teams and think, okay, well, on paper, they're this team. They should be a juggernaut. And you look back and you're like, yeah, we beat them, but they're not even a shade of themselves, right? Like even that Lions Eagles game, like you got a really struggling offense there that could barely do anything.
Yeah,
Whereas last year, I feel like if we had this matchup, it's like, oh man, this game's a shootout. It's going back and forth. So
right.
just shows you the parity year to year. But hey,
Yeah.
congrats to the Eagles, back to back NFC East champs, and all you got to do is get in, right? So
That's it. Well, and there's two after this past week, a lot of shit got decided as far as who's making the playoffs. So there's only 2 spots left in both the AFC and the NFC. The Seahawks in the 1 seed, still in the NFC. Bears in the 2, Eagles in the 3, and then we got Niners, Rams 5, 6. So only to be decided are the 4 seed, either Panthers or Bucks, and then the 7 seed, either the Packers or the Lions. So the Lions still mathematically alive, but they need the Lions. Sorry, they need the Packers to lose both, and the Lions have to win both. Let's talk Bears Packers because they actually kind of the Bears winning this game actually kind of did you a favor.
yeah, I think either way, we would have had a chance at both if we won out, right? The division or the 7 seed. And
Yeah.
yes, somebody asked me before who I would prefer in this matchup, and I said, well, I guess it's kind of the Bears because like even though we play them in the last week,
Yeah.
I didn't really feel like we realistically had a chance to catch them. And then okay,
Exactly.
now our only real shot is going at the 7 seed. So Packers losing is fantastic. And just like most of these other divisional matchups that happened this week, went to overtime. And man, what a battle. And when Johnson left, he said, I can't wait to beat LaFleur twice a year. And guess what?
He
He
did it.
did it.
He did exactly that. Yeah.
Crazy.
This game was wild because the Bears were up. Sorry, the Packers were up 16-6 with like 2 minutes to go. Like this game was wrapped. The Packers defense did their job all game, held the Bears to 6 points until the last 2 minutes, and then yeah, the Bears go down, they score, and then they kick an onside kick, which the success rate for this year has been abysmal, but they
Right.
fucking get it. And they go down the field and score again. And then we get into overtime, and Caleb just turns it on and slings a fucking prayer ball down the field, 40 something yards, 50 yards ish. DJ Moore in the end zone and completes it. Completes the comeback. This was absolutely wild with the Bears pretty much wrap up the NFC North for the first time in however many years. But you know, this is crazy, man. The Bears are, and like I know you guys stomped them back in what was it, week 2?
Yeah.
They're a much different team now. So
Oh,
I
big
don't know
time.
if you still prefer that matchup heading into the playoffs if it comes to that, but it's definitely a different team now.
Hey, we'll take whatever matchup we can get. All we got to do is get in, right?
Yeah.
So, um, it is crazy to think. And I mean, even last year, I was saying how I thought they were kind of a scary team because of their defense. And what is scary about that defense is they had kind of the most man games missed due to
Yeah.
injuries on the defense. They're leading the league in like takeaways. They're one of the best defenses in the league, and they haven't even truly been healthy.
Right.
So what's going to happen now once these guys kind of get back in, start rolling, get these reps underneath their legs here and keep rolling into the playoffs? But you have to think some nerves might be at play. They're a pretty young team in terms of experience in the playoffs, right? So you never know, but they've had a hell of a year and you can't take anything away from them.
That's absolutely the case. And the kind of the opposite side of that is the Lions, who went 15-2 last year, despite those injuries. They ran roughshod, took the NFC's number one seed. This year, not so much. The 8-6 Steelers come into Detroit to face the 8-6 Lions, clinging to their playoff lives, and this one was pretty controversial.
It was a pretty frustrating game because one, I feel like we just abandoned the run
Yeah.
altogether. We had like 15 rushing yards the whole game.
Oof.
Like, are you kidding me?
That's
Like, it
gross.
was like after the first quarter, we couldn't run the ball, so they just like whatever, we'll just throw it down your throat, and it worked. We moved the ball,
Yeah.
but you became pretty one-dimensional. Like, I don't even know if David Montgomery saw the field in the second half. Honestly, I he was invisible out there if he was. But this is my issue with this. You know Aaron Rodgers quite well. The Steelers are very beatable. They didn't even have TJ Watt in this one. Um, and you let their backfield run all over you. Kenny Gainwell and Jalen Warren went ham on you. We gave up felt like
Yeah.
500 yards. I don't know. Like this defense is just leaky right now, and you can't even blame the offense. Like they still put up 24 points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just, but yes, you're right. There was some controversy. St. Brown, he pushed at the end.
Yeah.
Legit. That
Yeah.
one's legit.
Yeah.
I'm not debating that one. You can't push off, especially after you've made it off like 5 yards
Yeah.
down the field, right? The one before that on Isaac Tesla, where St. Brown caught the touchdown ball. That was not offensive pass interference. If you watch that replay, Tesla runs, and the defender that he made contact with actually initiated the contact by like almost jumping in his way and pushing his arms up to push him.
Yeah.
Tesla was being covered by the guy in front of him. He's looking at him. He doesn't know the other guy's even there. If anything, that's like an illegal pick in basketball. You're moving and you drill him. But
Yeah.
somehow that gets called offensive pass interference, even though St. Brown is wide open for the touchdown. That's the call that I disagreed with, which again, it doesn't come down to just these two plays at the end of the game. We could have buried them multiple times, could have got 3 points at the beginning of the game instead. We went for it on fourth down, didn't get it. Now you're only down 3 or 2 going into the final minute here. Instead of trying to get a field goal, you could have kicked another field goal and won the game by 1 point.
Yeah.
we're not taking the points when we need to. And ultimately, this is costing us all these games this year. Just too aggressive, not getting it done like we did last year. And it's frustrating.
Yeah.
But this is also like the fifth call against the Lions this year that's been either reversed or not gone in our favor when it should have, that has cost us games. And it's insane.
Yeah, and that's way too often for something like that to happen. Like that was probably not OPI. It was probably an illegal contact by the defender. Especially, and it stings especially when it's so far away from where the actual play was, where the touchdown was caught.
Yes.
Come on now,
I
off-ball
know.
plays like that, that hurts for sure. But I mean, the fact that it's happened so many times, we can keep blaming the refs, or we can say Detroit's just continuing to make mental errors.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that one I will say was a bad call for sure, but a
Yeah.
lot of them this year have been mental errors, and Detroit's just not the same team this year.
I agree with that. Like I said, I'm not one to always sit there and blame the refs. I do
Yeah,
feel like there's been some terrible calls that have gone against us this year, and
yeah.
and there's been some terrible ones that have helped us in a couple of moments as well. But for the most part, like I said, we're just a little undisciplined. We're taking uncharacteristic penalties, but when you're allowing when you have the plays that happen like with Kenny Gainwell at the end of the first half and catching that ball,
Oh yeah.
which is probably a 1 in 10 chance of that happening when you're Kenny Gainwell, a
If they're
running
even
back,
that high, like that was
right?
wild.
And for it to go down like that kept that game a lot closer than it should have been too,
Yeah.
right? But nobody touched him after that because everyone thought the play was dead.
Yep.
It's just mental lapses to go back to your point. Like we're not following through on plays,
Yep.
taking too many penalties, and it's just done us in this year. So yes, not mathematically eliminated just yet, but time's running out and it's not looking good.
The Lions fall to 8-7. They need to win this week against Minnesota, and then in week 18 against Chicago. They need the Packers to lose this week against the Ravens, and then next week against Minnesota. So 93% chance of Packers making the playoffs is what they're saying here, leaving the Lions with a 7% chance. I mean, you're still playing meaningful ball at the end of December. It's all you can really ask for out of your team, but definitely a step back this year from last year. So
There's still a chance, but
there's
I
still
want
a
to
chance.
know, does Ben Johnson do us a favor and rest some guys in week 18 because they've already clinched?
I mean, I don't think he'll look at it as doing you guys a favor. I think he'll, if we want to keep our guys healthy, but I think inadvertently, yeah, I think he could do you a favor.
Right?
So why don't we move from the NFC to the AFC?
Yeah,
Talk about that playoff picture.
absolutely. I was going to say one team that's really charging for their playoff hopes face off a team that found out,
I see what you did
unfortunately,
there.
unfortunately, found out their season has been rounded up, shut down for the year. The Chargers take on the Cowboys and double them up, 34-17. Chargers be charging. Look out.
Add insult to injury. We won. The Eagles won, so we didn't need Dallas to lose, but they lost anyway to really cement it. And yeah, the Chargers go to 11-4, but they are that top wild card team in the AFC again this year, 2 years in a row. I think they were the 5 seed last year, weren't they?
I believe so. Yep.
Yeah.
They jumped up at the last week.
Justin Herbert continuing to get it done, but he was on fire this game. 3 total touchdowns, 300 plus passing yards. That O line protected him pretty cleanly. Didn't allow that Cowboys pass rush to get at him really. So I think this is maybe one of his more efficient, more dominant games, and the Chargers are rounding into form right at the perfect time of the year.
Well, I think you said it best there. And I think it just kind of goes to show you how scary this Chargers offense can be
Yep.
if Herbert's in rhythm, right? And it's give him time to stay upright and make the right decisions because
Yeah, buddy.
he's got Quentin Johnson that's taken two steps forward this year, let alone one. And then now he's got Amari and Hampton back, and Keenan Allen's doing Keenan Allen things. And finally, we see a Herbert McConkey game, right? Like it feels like
Finally,
they've
yeah.
been few and far between this year. So they're clicking. Their defense is always going to be serviceable. So,
Quentin Johnson, by the way, also had a sick left-handed
oh yeah,
one-hand touchdown catch,
all that.
kind of over his shoulder too. Beautiful. Oh, you nasty Quentin Johnson.
Oh, you nasty. But I mean, Chargers took care of business against a team that really had nothing to play for anymore. So good for you, Chargers. Keep it going.
Oh, I was loving this though. The Jacksonville Jaguars, buddy, they go into Denver. This was my dog of the week,
It
and
was.
they paid off. 34-20, just stomped those ponies. They pulled up, and Trevor Lawrence just continued to do Trevor Lawrence things. This guy might be the QB1 in the NFL this year. I mean, you'd probably have to toss Stafford into that mix for sure. A couple other
Oh yeah,
quarterbacks are probably up there as well. And I guess unfortunately Dak is up there with his passing yards and everything as well. But um, yeah, Jacksonville Jaguars 11-4. They are the 3 seed in the AFC right now. They're 1 game back. They still got a legitimate shot at the number 1 seed in the AFC, which is crazy to think about. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Can you imagine if the Jags are the 1 seed? What a weird
pretty
year.
insane. I definitely didn't see that coming, and like we didn't even sniff Trevor Lawrence as part of the MVP conversation,
No,
right? But I
you
mean, he
kind of have
might
to at
be
least talk about him now.
playing himself into it a little bit down the stretch here. But man, yeah, the Jaguars are just finding ways to get it done, and I feel like this is one of the first times the Broncos have been tested in a while too, with a team with a fairly decent record. So
When you're a team that's on an 11 game win streak, you're fucking hot. Like things are
yeah,
going well for you. And for the
yeah,
Jags to just come in and immediately put a halt to that, just like, you're done. We're taking over this this game and we're gonna stop you at 11. So, I mean, credit the ground game again. This is a team that just gets it done through the air, on the ground. Their defense, I had to check because their defense is unreal this year too. They don't really get talked about enough. The Jacksonville Jaguars have given up the fewest yards on defense in the entire NFL this year. I
well,
had to look that up to make sure that that was accurate. But going into Week 17, the Jags have the best as far as yards given up defense in the league. This team, man,
that's crazy.
love
And
it.
like you could also argue like very uncharacteristic of the Broncos defense to give up 34 too. So
Seriously.
just shows you how well-rounded the Jaguars offense is right now. And you know, when they hired Liam Cohen, that was the thing. He's an offensive guru. So it's shining through later on in the season here. Everything's clicking at full steam. So
Seriously, everything's clicking. So 2 spots left available in the AFC playoff picture. Again, the 4 seed and the 7 seed. You got Broncos, Pats, Jags, 1, 2, 3. Chargers and Bills sitting at 5 and 6. So let's talk about those Bills for a sec. They've locked up a playoff spot by just squeaking by the powerhouse Browns. 23-20 in Cleveland. Obviously, the cold weather is a bit of a factor here, but you don't expect the Browns to be that competitive against this Bills team. But Bills get it done. They go to 11-4. They lock up a playoff spot, sitting in the 6 seed right now. So yeah, like I said, just the Steelers and Texans in 4 and 7 have not officially clinched. Looking like they probably will, both over 90% chance to do it. But yeah, Bills and Browns. So I don't know that we need to talk too much about this one. Kind of one of those stuck in the mud games for a good portion of it. But Josh Allen does Josh Allen things and pulls it out late.
yeah, I think so. And I think this is kind of why people don't trust the Bills, right? It's like it's these teams like the Browns, which albeit they have a pretty good defense, but
Yeah,
look at how many of these teams that we would typically consider not great that have kind of given the Bills everything that they could handle, right? The Saints, the Browns, the Panthers, even though the Panthers are leading their division back then, it was like, okay, they're just okay,
yeah,
you know, and then Pats beat them right earlier on in the year, and it's like, okay, what is with this Bills team? Why do they always get pushed to the brink against these, but then they go out and they, you know, like smokes Cincinnati or they, you know, like all these things that happen or the
yeah,
Chiefs, right? And it's like, okay, like how can we trust this Bills team to like go the distance when some of their biggest demons are not even going to be in the playoffs this year?
right.
But maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later. But Shador, man, Shador was keeping these guys in this game the whole time. And I think I don't think there's any question about it. I think Shador has to be their number one going forward.
Yeah, I think going into next year, they'll start the year, given barring anything crazy happening in training camp next year. But I think Shedeur Sanders probably starts QB1 for the Browns next year.
Yeah,
See what they can do. Um, at this point, I guess you just got to move on from Deshaun Watson. Like, that's just a cancerous contract weighing you down.
absolutely.
I mean, it's probably a bunch of dead money that if they cut him, they're going to have to be stuck paying, but it's almost worth it at this point, right?
I would
Anyway,
say that's a swing and a miss.
yeah.
But
Anyway, we don't have to talk about non-playoff teams because there's tons of playoff teams or playoff hopefuls we can still talk about, like the Patriots and like the Ravens. The Sunday Nighter, this was a good game, and the Ravens had a late lead and they blew it. Pats win. Drake May things this year, and he's definitely in the MVP conversation and pulls those Patriots to a 12-3 record. Patriots win 28-24. Um, I don't know what else you want. Like Stephon Diggs had a great game. Like this team looks like they're rounding into forms going into the playoffs, and that's bad news for everyone else in the AFC.
right. And definitely two teams with an unquestionable number one quarterback.
Hmm.
And I think it, it's confused us, this Ravens team this year. Are they good? Are they bad? Are
Yeah.
they healthy? Are they not? And
1-5,
unfortunately,
then they go on a 5-game win streak, and then they lose a bunch of games they shouldn't. So,
right?
yeah,
And like Lamar has not looked like himself this year. Let's be honest about that. And it kind of questions how healthy he actually is and left this game with a back injury. So I guess that's something to talk about because if they have to go Tyler Huntley the rest of the way,
right.
yes, it's still up for grabs because I truly, even though they just beat the Lions, I don't think the Steelers are that great.
No.
And I think you have a very good chance to ride this out and play for the division in the final week against the Steelers. So just got to handle your business. But yeah, when you lose to a Patriots team at home, that one stings a little bit,
Well, and they don't really have a couple of weeks where they can just kind of take their foot off the accelerator, right? They have to go into Lambeau this coming week and beat the Packers to keep their playoff hopes alive, and hope that Pittsburgh loses as well. So,
Yep.
um, definitely uphill climb for the Ravens. Looking at it right now, they've got a 9% chance of making the playoffs because they have to win out and the Steelers have to lose out. That's their only chance.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well, and I think too, if you're the Ravens, like this was a measuring stick game, right? Patriots are one of the best teams in the AFC this
yeah.
year. You've been kind of mediocre at best, and I think this just goes to show you, like, if you're going to have these late game collapses against these good teams, probably probably not going to go very far, right? So probably best just call it quits, go home, rest up for next year.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
don't.
joking. Nobody does that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think that NFL players operate that way. As long as they're mathematically alive, they're probably gonna give it go balls
Oh
out
yeah.
here. So,
Yeah. Lamar's
um,
going to play this week for sure.
Lamar's gonna play Ravens at 7-8. They have to win out, and there's no other options. The Colts as well, 8-7. They're the only other team on the bubble right now. They've got a 3% chance of making the playoffs. So Philip Rivers, if there was a time to go hero mode, it's now. They
Right?
have to win out as well, and Houston would have to lose out.
Well, Rivers has been a beauty
Yeah,
coming off the bench, if you will, out of retirement,
yeah.
filling in. I would say outside of maybe hockey players, football players are some of the toughest guys in the world. What they do is nuts, and that's why we love them. And I think there's a few guys that you love every week, and you like to talk about them. So why don't we jump into some Brooksee's beauties?
And this week, the beauties are just as much about luck and clumsiness working out in your favor as it is about pure athleticism. And so this week, my beauties are Michael Wilson of the Cards and Kenneth Gainwell
Oh,
of the Pittsburgh.
fuck you.
I knew it. I knew it.
Seriously.
I knew it. Both these players, so I'll start with Michael Wilson. Marvin Harrison Jr. comes back into the lineup for the Cards. Doesn't matter. Michael Wilson has really emerged over the last few weeks as a very reliable receiver. Harrison kind of fading a little bit, and Brissett's rapport with Michael Wilson growing. He's hitting him a lot more often nowadays, and there was a deep ball in this game where he hit Michael Wilson down the sideline at the cusp of the end zone. Michael Wilson goes up with the defender, gets all tangled, comes down basically on his head. Ball kind of bounces between him and the defender. As Michael Wilson's on his head, the ball lands on his arm. Somehow he makes the catch and like slides in on his head to the end zone. Touchdown. And you can see the look on Brissett's face. Like, did that just happen? Like,
Right?
unbelievable
Holy
play.
cow.
You got to be so lucky for that ball to not touch the ground. Crazy, crazy play. There's no way you can do this by design. Like this, just the ball has to fall this way. And the same thing with Kenneth Gainwell. I know you're gonna fucking hate this one. Kenneth Gainwell running out there as a receiver basically against Anzalone, the linebacker. They both kind of go up for the ball. They hit in the air. They separate a little bit. Kenneth Gainwell falls down on the turf. Basically, his arm is just laying on the turf. The ball comes, lands on his arm, and just like sticks. Somehow bounces into him. He gets up, runs into the end zone because he wasn't touched after he made contact with the ball. Another touchdown. Crazy fucking play. Will something like this ever happen again? Maybe
No.
once in a blue moon, but there's no way you could ever plan for something like this. Crazy lucky. Couple of crazy touchdowns. My beauties of the week. Get on in here for an awkward hug, guys, because those were awkward plays, but you made them work. Brooksy's beauties. There we go.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it'll probably never happen again, or unless it's against the Lions, and then
Yeah.
something stupid's always bound to happen. And yeah, Michael Wilson, receiver one in Arizona.
Oh my God.
Who would
Came
have
out of
thought?
nowhere.
Well, if you've been listening for most of this year, you know that I'd like to do a little segment called Calvo's Dumpster Fire of the Week.
Yeah.
And even though I am feeling a little Grinch like, I didn't think it was appropriate at Christmas time to throw a team into the dumpster fire. You know, like you said, you never know what somebody's going through, right?
We're
And
feeling generous this time of
we're
year.
we're feeling generous. So instead of the dumpster fire of the week, I'm going to throw in something called Calvo's thoughts. Okay,
I like it.
and I just want to talk about the year that was. Right, always brings so much promise. We always set goals at the beginning of the year, right? Something to strive for. Not me. New year, same me. It's just the way it goes. Got to set the bar low.
I
But
mean, if you start setting expectations, you're only going to disappoint yourself, right? So you set no
right,
expectations, you're never disappointed. I like it.
exactly. But if I think about the year of 2025 as it relates to not only my personal world, I feel like I did a lot of growth this year. Becoming a dad for the first time at age 40 forces you to grow up just a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Still a big kid at heart. Um, but it puts perception into a little bit different reality, right? There's different things to strive for.
Hmm.
And the ultimate goal is just to keep this little dude alive. But in
I
the
mean,
sports
ideally,
world,
yeah.
the ultimate goal is to keep your championship bids alive, right? And like I said, it's kind of a year of growth. And I feel like we're getting a little bit more parity in the league these days, right? We see these teams like the Panthers, the Jaguars, the who else do you want to throw in? The Bears, the Broncos, like all these teams are just building and upseeding all these powerhouses that were running these conferences for years and
Yeah.
years. And it begs the question, is the parity good or bad for the league?
It's,
I think it's great for
I
the
think it's
league.
so good for the league.
It's terrible for my wallet, but
Yeah.
it's one of these things that spins expectations versus reality, right? And I think if you ask all 32 teams at the beginning of every year, what is your expectation? And everyone's going to say, we're going to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think in your personal life, you're going to say, well, I'm going to get a raise. I'm going to get a promotion. I'm going to buy X, Y, and Z. I'm going to start a family. I'm going to just not be a fuck up for a week or two and just see how that goes. Right. And
Oof, a week or two, that's hard to do. Oh my God.
I know, right? Again, got to set the bar low. Don't even set
That's right.
these
Yeah.
goals, right? You don't want to be disappointed. Don't set goals.
Correct.
But if your goals aren't big enough and they don't scare you, what's the point, right?
That's
And I
it.
think that's why all these teams come in with the expectations you're going to win the championship, you're going to do great, and then reality sets in, right? The games play, life happens, things get in the way, whether that's injuries in the football world, whether that's just poor officiating, whether that's just non-execution happening
Yeah.
every single game.
Yep.
There's really only one person to blame, and that's yourself. Right. And you got to do a little gut check sometimes. Just like I think I'm a great dad. Realistically, it's probably my wife doing all these great things and keeping our son alive and entertained while I do things like a football podcast. It's fine. It's fine.
He can entertain himself for an hour. It's fine. It's fine.
Right.
No, but
But
only Calvo could equate keeping an infant alive with an NFL team keeping their season playoff hopes alive, right? It's
hey, when you only have a 7% chance of doing good at anything, you gotta treat that 7% like it's 103% and just give it your all
just play that up, eh?
and just do it any way you can. But why should we be thankful? And I think it comes down to whether it's life or sports, you need a team, right? You need a support system around you. So I'm thankful for all the sports teams I cheer for. It gives me great entertainment. I'm thankful for my family and friends, my wife for allowing me to be able to do things like this, and of course, loving our son. And yes, I'm definitely thankful for having our son. And maybe I was a little facetious before. There is one thing that comes above football, and that's probably him.
Probably.
But like I said, I'm thankful that we get the opportunity to talk about this every week, and the fact that there is even a sport to cheer for, right? Like I said, expectations versus reality. We all want to win, but in the end, only one team is going to carry home the prize. And with that, I leave you guys with cheers of happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that jazz. Just be thankful, regardless of how doom and gloom things might seem, especially if you're a Lions fan.
Calvo's thoughts for the week. Couldn't have said it better myself, my guy. And I will agree with you. The parity is great for the league. To see the same teams competing for the Super Bowl every year is awful. It's boring. It's not great for all the other fan bases around the league. So to see such a landscape shakeup, like to see this league completely flipped on its ear, and so many teams that have not been contenders for a long time now jumping in and being some of those top teams in the league is great for the NFL. I am very thankful for the fact that my Eagles are still a playoff team. I'm thankful for you, buddy. I'm thankful for this pod. I'm thankful for everything else that I've got going for me in my life. Sometimes it's hard, obviously, to um, to see those good things sometimes, and you get down, you get negative, and you only see the bad things. But it's important to take a moment to definitely appreciate those good things. And yeah, all the best to you and your family, and your obviously your infant son going into next year, buddy. So great thoughts for the
Abs-
week.
Absolutely. Well, I think to bring that full circle, no matter how bad things feel, we can always take solace in the fact that there's always next year.
The NFL's not going anywhere.
Right? Even just life in general. But maybe let's spin this into the who would have thought, right?
Okay, okay.
And like I kind of mentioned with the parity and everything going on in the league, who would have thought that this would be the year of the underdog, right? The Bears, the Panthers, the Jags, the Broncos, Pats, all like we talked about in the Calvo's thoughts here,
Yep.
but all leading their divisions with 2 games to play. Who would have thought?
Nobody. Not me. Nobody. Honestly.
Well, if we couldn't think it, nobody could think it.
We are the premier thinkers and geniuses, obviously, as far as podcasts, NFL podcasts around the world go. So if you want football information, we know you're coming to us. But even we couldn't have thought that this would happen. This is crazy.
Right. Well, just the normal laws of physics, right? Every action has a reaction. And just like it's the year of the underdog, it's the fall of the juggernauts, baby. Like
Yep.
KC, gone. Baltimore, 9% chance, could be gone. Lions, 7% chance, could be gone. The Bills were flirting with it for a little while.
Yep.
Everyone's questioning them. I'm gonna say the Eagles in there too. And whoa, before you
Whoa.
even run your mouth, I don't even
Hey.
want to hear it. Just hear me
Hey.
out.
Go on.
Okay, thank you. They've had these years of like dominance, right? And when I say the juggernauts, I'm talking about like any team that I just listed there went from being like 15 and 2, 16 and 1,
Yeah.
right? Like
The Eagles
all
were
these
14 and
like
3 last year. So
just
yeah, and won the Super Bowls.
pounding everybody to
Yep.
seeing this parity and these underdogs coming through where, you know, 6 and 8, there's so many teams that are sitting there this late in the season or even just slightly above 500, everyone pushing for these last 2 or 3 seeds that might be available in every conference. And it's crazy when we're not seeing all these teams that are just blowing teams out all the time, right? And that's why I say the fall of the juggernaut, because we're not seeing just one dominant team throughout the whole year. Like we're seeing multiple now, right?
Yeah.
And the teams that you would expect to be the best ones
Probably
aren't
the
even sniffing. But what's also crazy is who would have thought like the teams that we're talking up so highly at the beginning of the year would just seemingly fall off. Like the Colts and the Bucks looked almost unstoppable. I think at one point both teams were like 6 or 7 and 1, and now they're just both plummeting down the standings. The Colts just got eliminated. The Bucks are flip-flopping with the Panthers, and whatever team doesn't win that division is eliminated.
yeah.
So it's just one of these things like it's so crazy with such a short season how many things can just flip on their head, right?
Well, to your point, yeah, because it's crazy when you look at things preseason and you talk about all these juggernaut teams preseason and what they should do over the course of the season, but also, yeah, in season, you see these teams at 7-1, 8-2, and the Colts were running over the league, and like there's so it's crazy. We've said it before, the landscape of the NFL changes every week, and it's just wild to see teams that, yeah, like obviously the Colts haven't been good for a while, and to see them emerge the way they did the first 10, 11 weeks this year, we're like, holy shit. And then they fall off too. So it's crazy the in-season changes you see as well as the teams that were fucked right from
Right.
jump, even though, we thought that they were coming in as juggernauts. So
Well, you'd think, it's an 18-week season. There's not a lot of time to fuck it up, right?
you'd think.
One week, 2 weeks can make a massive difference,
Colt said, hold my beer, right? So
right?
we
Man.
can really fuck this up.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? Those are my Huda thoughts. Any that you want to add, or you pretty good on that?
I think we're pretty good on that. I'd like to jump in because the Week 17 slate, as far as who can clinch, this shit is wild, and I love this time of year. This is probably the best week of the year. Obviously, Week 18 with a bunch of teams that clinch. A lot of teams will rest their starters, right? So this is the last like true competition week of the year. So many games are going to decide so much this year. So let's fucking jump into Week 17.
Sure. Well, this week, a lot of people's Christmases are going to get ruined. And like I said last week, sorry, family. This is do or die.
I
I
I
hope I don't
can't
get
wait to
into the
see you
holiday
destroy the
spirit a
house.
little early. Let's just put it that way. Because,
Christmas is canceled at the Calvo household this year, guys.
right? Oh, it happens right at 4:30 too. So right
Yeah.
in the middle of the day just to ruin everything.
Just before dinner to make you fucking flip a table.
But it's kind of crazy, like we talked about. How does the Lions team go from 15 and 2? Now, again, we had one of the hardest schedules this year. I
Yeah.
expected not 15 and 2. I didn't expect us, however, to be fighting for our playoff lives with two
No.
weeks to play, seeing the Browns win the division, and then potentially losing this game puts you in a tie for last place in the division after being the number one seed in the whole NFC last year.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. And you know the Vikings are looking to play spoiler. They have nothing to play for but to ruin Lions season. So
Yeah.
it's
Vikings
gonna
are
be a
playing well now.
banger.
They destroyed the Cowboys this past week, and you know for sure, yeah, the Vikings have got really nothing to lose at this point. So they're just gonna show up and show out, and you guys are gonna have your hands full to try and keep your playoff hopes alive.
Well, we'll see how serious this team actually is.
Yeah.
You know, the
Yeah.
the first quarter and a half is gonna be pretty telling. So
Backs against the wall. I'm excited to watch how that plays out.
absolutely.
Another game we got. I mean, the Christmas Day slate isn't great aside from your game coming up. But moving into the weekend, we've got the Texans at 10-5, the Chargers at 11-4. This is going to decide. Like the Chargers still have a shot at the AFC West and the number one seed in the AFC. Texans looking to lock up that division. So many implications. I mean, Texans looking for that chance to maybe try and sneak into that AFC South. Jags obviously looking very strong, but yeah, this game tons of implications, not just for who wins divisions and playoff spots, but the seedings for who's going to play who wild card weekend, right? So this game can be crazy. Another one, two playoff teams, potential playoff teams, the Ravens looking to try and keep their hopes alive at 7-8. They have to beat the Packers
Hmm.
um, in Lambeau. Essentially, the Green Bay Packers playoff lives on the line as well, because if they lose out, the Lions can overtake them. So a couple of desperate teams here, buddy.
Well, and yeah, Packers have a lot to play for too. And I don't know. I haven't heard any status on Jordan Love yet.
Yeah.
Haven't heard any status on Lamar Jackson yet. So I'm assuming Lamar's going to play. I
But I
don't know
mean,
how
we
bad his
could
injury
theoretically
was.
see Tyler Huntley versus Malik Willis,
Right.
right? With playoff lives on the line. So
Who would have thought?
crazy.
Not the matchup you'd expect, but
No.
this is what we're given. But yes, two teams playing desperate football. And the next team, two teams that I want to talk about, it kind of feels like a David versus Goliath thing here, right? The Seahawks at
Yeah.
12 and 3 versus the Panthers at 8 and 7. But I think the Panthers have shown like they're not really David in the sense, right? Like, yes, they're barely above 500 here, but they still got a chance to win their division, and they've taken it to some pretty good teams this year. So it's one of these things. If you're the Seahawks and you take them lightly, you might tumble down the seedings as well. So
They're so frisky, and Bryce Young has shown that he can kind of really hang with anyone when an offense gets moving. Their defense is no slouch either, but likely the Seahawks win this game, knock the Panthers to 8-8. Seahawks will probably lock up that number one seed in the NFC, whereas the Panthers will have to wait until Week 18 for their matchup with the Bucks to really decide the division because the Bucks will probably beat Miami this week. However, yeah, you never know. Panthers
it's
would be able to go a long way towards locking up the division this week and stealing it from the Bucks, who've won it what, like 5, 6 years in a row now.
yeah, something like that. They've been on quite the streak, so you know they're
Yeah,
going to play some desperate football too. And yeah, they've got a pretty cake matchup against the Dolphins.
Bucks roll into Miami, but Miami, I don't know, they've been kind of hit or miss lately, and they can turn it on at any given time as well. And so the Bucks have to go in with the Bucks. It's a must win basically for the Bucks going into Miami. Speaking of must win, Philip Rivers. You got a 3% chance to get those Colts in, buddy, but your work is cut out for you. Uh, that Jags team, they're at home, but they gotta face this Jags team, and the Jags come in with, like I said, the best defense as far as yards given up. So your work's cut out for you, Philip Rivers. But this game could go a long way to deciding because the Jaguars, like, there's still like six teams that realistically have a shot at the number one seed in AFC. It's crazy.
Hmm.
Broncos,
Yeah.
Pats, Jags, Chargers, Bills, all with a shot to get that number one seed in the AFC.
I thought they said yesterday the Colts were already eliminated, but guess not.
They've got a 3% chance according to NFL.com.
Oh, well, what do they know?
They would have to win out, and the Texans would have to lose out. Unrealistic, but
Right.
could happen.
And who would have thought that in week 17 we're talking about two teams that are 2-13?
Oh,
But
I love it.
there's a lot on the line for this game, right? Let's see who can be worse than the other. And I'm sure there's not going to be any sloppy football played in this game.
No, it's going to
Battle
be
for first
game of the
overall.
year. Game of the year, buddy.
Giants versus Raiders. Oh God.
Two teams actively trying to get that first overall pick. They have no interest in winning. Well, sorry, the ownership of these teams has no interest in winning. The
Right.
players themselves have a lot of pride. So, with two teams that literally have nothing to lose,
Hmm.
can just throw it all out there. It could be fun to just see a couple of two-win teams slug it out and finish, 6-3 final or something. But
Can we get Jameis Winston for the last two games,
oh, I would love that.
please?
Why not?
JMO, this is my call to you, buddy. Make it happen.
And you can audition for a starting job elsewhere next year. Why wouldn't you? Absolutely.
Exactly. All right, let's move on.
Okay, man.
Slobber knocker of the week. Eagles versus Bills. You're going to be seeing this game in person.
I'm going to Buffalo for the Eagles versus Bills this week. It's going to be cold. I'm probably going to have to bring a shovel.
You're
Shovel off
probably
my
going to get
seat here.
peed on.
Probably going to get. I hope I don't get pissed on.
That's the
Come on.
Buffalo way, man. I'm
Is
telling
that
you.
what they do? I'll jump through a flaming table. Don't piss on me.
But I think it is an exciting game in different ways. Like, I think both teams have already clinched, but it's one of these measuring stick games, right? And you have to know that if you're going to meet again, it's in the final.
Yeah,
So it's one of these things you don't really want to leave too much on the table. And I think it's just it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, are we going to get the starters on both sides?
Buffalo for sure because they can still win the division and the number one seed in the AFC, so they're still gunning for sure.
Okay, well at least you get to see a real quarterback.
Eagles, I'm not. Yeah,
The
fuck you.
only maybe you get to see your best quarterback in Tanner McKee.
Anyway, Eagles, I don't know that they can move up from three. They got a slim chance, but it's probably not going to happen. So they may be playing Tanner McKee. Either way, whatever. I'm just going to go have a good time with my bro. Not you, my other bro.
Oh,
My Eagles fan, bro.
how dare you have other friends?
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, we're probably having a great time, and hopefully the Eagles get that done.
I hope it's a snow game for you. Maybe they'll pay you $20 to shovel out the stadium and give you a free hot dog.
I'll do it for $20 an hour. I'm not going to do it for $20.
No, $20. You're an Eagles fan. $20.
I'll go there for a couple hours if you're going to pay for all my food there, Buffalo, but food and drinks. But yeah, so that should be a good game. It might be a snow game. It's going to be cold as hell, regardless. So I'm going to bundle up. And yeah, so the Eagles 10-5, Bills 11-4, battling it out for positioning at this point. Another couple of 11-4 teams battling it out for positioning. The Bears currently in the 2 seed in the NFC versus the Niners, who are in the 5 seed. So they're going to be jockeying. That should be a great game. What are we looking forward to there, buddy? What do you think is going to happen there?
Well, like you said, I think they're both still jockeying for position. 49ers definitely have a lot to play for because they have two teams in their same division that are right above them in the standings, right? And both these teams are going to be trying to gun for the number one seed too. So it's one of these things that I think even if the Bears, like I joked before, like is Ben Johnson going to do us a favor? If they're still in line for that number one seed, you know they're going to play for it. You know what I mean? So
100%.
it's one of these things. I think this is what it all comes down to. And if you really want that home field advantage, you got to lay it all on the line. And so, yeah, 2-11-4 teams going at it should be fairly low scoring game, I want to say. I'll even give you a score prediction for that one.
Ooh.
Let's say, I think McCaffrey can get it done against that Bears defense. Say 21-17 for the 49ers.
I'm also going to say 49ers. I hate doing it because I hate them so much. But it's in Santa Clara, so the weather shouldn't be too much of a factor. The 49ers should be able to execute. I'm going to say they win as well. Let's go 31-21 over the Bears.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's the only score prediction we're doing this week, I guess. The other games would be crazy. I don't even know if we want to
Yeah,
hazard guesses. So,
that's okay.
yeah.
I don't even know if we're even keeping track of those ones anyways. But you know what we are keeping track of? The locks and the dogs of the week. And hopefully you guys have been following along with us on these lock picks because it feels like we can't really miss.
It's a dead heat
We're
between you and
both
I this year.
crushing this year, 13-3. And who do you got this week?
So I took my Eagles last week. They got it done. I go to 13-3. So I'm gonna try and keep it rolling with the New England Patriots. Again, if you're still alive in Survivor, kudos to you. But this one should be a relative lock if you still have the Patriots available to you. Grab those New England Patriots. They're favored by a couple of scores over the Jets.
This division game doesn't scare you,
Not at all.
nor should it. That seems like a layup.
Jets can't do anything right now.
Sure, sure. Well, last week I took the Bills.
Yeah, you did.
They, of course, barely got it done against the Browns. There's no pictures on the scorecard. This week, I'm going to take the Monday Nighter, the LA Rams, over the Atlanta Falcons. I know Kirk's got that Falcons team playing not too bad, but the Rams going to get it done.
I think that's a fairly safe bet. Didn't the Rams lose to the Falcons earlier this year?
How's that possible?
No, maybe not.
No, they lost to the Panthers.
That's right. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Okay. Well, that's a solid pick. The Rams should get it done, and then we'll have to battle it out in Week 18 to see who finishes with the higher lock record. But probably end up tied there. But you know where we're not tied, buddy? With our dogs record. Brooksee got it done again. Jaguars. They keep clicking, and I got it done against the Broncos with my Jags pick. I moved to 12-4 with my
I
dogs
feel
record
like you've
this year.
picked them like 8 times as your dog this week, and somehow like a team that's in first place is always a dog. Like, how the fuck does this work?
Anytime they're a dog, I'm taking them, and it's working out every single time this year. So, but I'm not taking them this week. For my dog, I'm going to go with the Houston Texans. They're going into LA, play those Chargers. I just really think Stroud's got it going on at the moment. I think the Texans are desperate, a little bit more desperate. I think they'll get it done. I think that defense is flying right now. Give me Houston.
I like, I like it.
Yeah. Who do you got
Love
for
the
your dog at
Texans.
6-10? You're improving that record though. That's a
Hey,
couple
I'm
of weeks in a
sneaking
row.
back. If I can bring it back to like 7-11, 8-10, 8-10 would be the preference, just to make it a little bit more respectable.
Yeah,
But
you've been good the past couple weeks.
I'm not taking like these like pick games mostly. Like I'm taking true underdogs. So I'm okay with my record considering what I've done. I've had a couple tough losses in there too. The Cincy one, among countless others. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I need a favor in the worst way this week. Ravens have been playing some not so bad football over the last month and a bit. I'm
Mhm.
taking the Ravens over the Packers at Lambeau because I got a good feeling that Snoop Huntley is going to get the job done if Lamar can't.
Well, and you need a favor from those Ravens. So by picking them here as your dog, you're going to try and will it into existence. I guess I get that. So
The Baltimore is going to bring me to 7-10.
yes, sir. All right. So there's our locks and dogs for the week. Again, we're tied in our locks. I've got a huge edge in dog. So maybe Bravonians out there, you can decide what Calvo's punishment should be for losing the dogs picks for this year. I don't know. There's something to toss out there.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
All right, buddy. I'm fucking stoked for this week. We got Christmas Day games. We got a Week 17 slate with so much that's going to be decided here for the playoffs. What do you say we sign off and get to it?
Yeah, I'm on vacation this week. Let's go do something fun.
Hell yeah. You know what? I may stop by on my way down to Buffalo. I'll stop in and hang out for a little bit.
Please don't.
Okay, that's fair too.
Door's closed. But no,
What
please
if
do.
I have presents?
Okay, that's fair.
You'll,
Sweet man. If
you'll
you're
be allowed in if you have presents.
yeah, pay the toll.
Yeah, exactly.
No, sweet man. If you're nearby and feel like making the jaunt over, come on through.
Awesome. Well, I mean, I for one, I'm looking forward to what happens this week. So let's get to it. For Calvo, I'm Brooksee. This has been the NFLA. Again, follow us on socials. Subscribe to our YouTube. Leave us some questions, comments, concerns, anything you're concerned about. Maybe Calvo's ugly hat. Maybe he should switch back to an Eagles hat. I don't
Yeah,
know.
right.
Anything like that. But I just want to finish by saying happy holidays to all of you who celebrate. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. It's all good. Whatever you celebrate, just do it responsibly, do it safely, enjoy your family and friends. Don't make any dumb decisions like drinking and driving or anything like that. Be good to people. Be good to everyone you come across this time of year, and let people know just what they mean to you. And again, we're going to do the same here. We're going to enjoy our holiday season. We're going to enjoy week 17, and we'll see y'all next week. So, peace out and peace on earth. We'll see you next week.
Ho, ho, ho!